Robotics presents
a teacher-friendly FLL board. First, an overview. This FLL board was designed with teachers in mind. When our team was started, we needed a game board that was a few different things. It had to be lightweight so our coach could easily move it out of the way in her classroom. It had to be compact so it wouldn't take up space. It had to be inexpensive and easy to make because we didn't have very much time or money to use on the board. What we designed was a folding foam board table that we could easily store and use. Here's how we made our board and how you can make your own. Here are the tools and supplies you'll need to make this project. You'll need 3 foam boards, 4 foot by 8 foot by 1 inch. You need 1 tube of foam adhesive. You need 2 rolls of duct tape. You're going to need 1 can of flat black spray paint. You'll need a caulking gun for the adhesive, a box cutter or utility knife for scoring and cutting the foam, a tape measure for measuring your cuts, and we suggest using a table saw for making the large cuts, but you could use your utility knife if you prefer. The total price of this project, including the foam board, the adhesive, the spray paint, and the duct tape, is only $76. Great for teams on a smaller budget. This project produces 2 FLL tables, which brings the total cost per table down to $38. Now that we have our supplies ready, we can begin cutting the foam into the shapes we need. Our first cut is the playing field surface. The internal dimensions should be 45 by 93 inches. Our board is 96 inches long, however. When we put our walls on, we take an inch off either side, which still leaves us with 94 inches. The solution? Cut 1 inch off the end of the board. Remember to use a push stick when making narrow cuts on the table saw. Our other internal dimension is 45 inches. However, our board is 48 inches long. When we include the side walls, it's 46 inches long. How do we get it back down to 45 inches? You guessed it, cut another inch off the end. Now we'll take our remaining foam board and cut it into pieces to be used for the walls. You'll need 8 4-inch wide pieces, and 12 3-inch pieces. I should warn you, this process does create a lot of pink dust everywhere, so be prepared to sweep up after. The pieces you just cut are going to make up the walls. You're going to glue 1 3-inch long piece onto the 4-inch long piece. Make sure that the bottoms are flush. If you've never used a caulking gun before, we'll go through a short tutorial now to show you how to use it. First, take your utility knife and cut the plastic tip off of the nozzle. Make sure to cut at an angle so that the adhesive will go on smoother later. Then, take your caulking gun and extend out the little tip that it has. This tip is then shoved into the nozzle to perforate the plastic seal. Then, load your can of adhesive into the gun and press the plunger forward. If you try squeezing the trigger and it starts to flow out, you're ready to go. To attach the 2 wall pieces together, lay down a bead of adhesive going up and down the entirety of the board. Make sure that you spread it evenly and don't get too close to the edges. Then, take your 2 pieces and lay the one flat on the other. Squeeze a little to get out any excess and make sure that the 2 ends again are flat against each other and flush. Your final piece should look something like this. Repeat this process until you have 8 completed walls. It can be a bit tedious, so go ahead and enlist some friends to help you out. Next, we'll make our center folding hinge. Measure out the length of your board and find the exact center of it. It should be at 47.5 inches. Next, flip your foam board over. On the side with the logos on it, place one long strip of duct tape down the center where you marked. Then, place smaller strips perpendicular to your first strip. These will help reinforce the hinge. Now, using your utility knife and a straight edge, score down the line you made in the center of the board. It doesn't need to be perfectly straight, but it needs to be fairly close, that way the two sides will mate with each other. Then, turn your board so the half that you cut is hanging over the edge. Gently apply pressure until the board snaps in half. Your duct tape will act as a hinge and keep the two pieces together. Next, we'll attach the sidewalls to the board. Lay down another bead of adhesive to the walls and attach them onto the board itself. Use duct tape strips to secure it while it's drying. Then, to attach the end walls, either cut a piece out of the sides or cut the end wall itself an inch short on either side. Use the same method as before when applying the adhesive. Finally, you're ready to spray paint and tape up the board. Remember, when applying the spray paint, only apply on the side walls of the board. You don't need to cover the plain area. Make sure that the paint coat is even across the entirety of the surface. This is required by the FLL rulebook. When you're done painting, simply apply some duct tape along the outside edges for reinforcement and support, and your FLL board is complete. To make the board last longer and to ensure accurate results, please don't lean on the board as it could leave indentations in the foam. You're ready for competition.